Good afternoon, everyone. This is Zyron signing on. Um, as many of you all know, later this year, probably for update 4.0, we will probably be getting Pyro and completing our first initial forays through the Star Citizen development courses that have taken nearly 10 years to develop. This is a good achievement, but I wanted to lay out some caveats. Remember, this is the ARC star map. What I wanted to go over today is what I think might be among the first 5 systems after Pyro, connected probably to either Pyro or Stanton, that may or may not have any bearing on future advancement of the game. In other words, they're going to be, connected to Stanton as a jump area in some way. I wanted to do 10, but I might do a part 2. These are going to be my first 5. And for those of you in the back screaming, Terra should be first in that list. And Soul, number 1, Soul is way over here and a bunch of jump points away. And Terra is a very overly complex system. It needs a lot of work and love, even to resuscitate its current status. We've heard nothing about Terra being worked on for years. So anyway, we have Stanton, we have Pyro that's pretty much done, but what else do we have in the region of space near Stanton? Well, this month we got a water bottle that signifies a Magnus 4. I don't know if it's a red herring or not, but this is the first system I think that might be a future system, not in any necessary order, but Magnus seems like an awful close candidate for an eventual new system to be added. We have 3 planets orbiting Magnus, unlike Magnus 4, which is Triggerfish. Triggerfish was actually celebrated as a joke holiday by our Robert Space Industries and has been for a few years. So this indicates Magnus might be a system that they want to work on either soon or in the near future. Magnus has a lot going for it. It's very piratey. It's got lots of low criminality prosecution, meaning if you're a pirate, you might be able to hide out in Magnus for a long time and not be found out. A bunch of orgs that I know of personally want to use Magnus as their home base. Borea has the headquarters for Drake Interplanetary here. So I don't know if you know about this, but that system will probably have, this planet will probably have dry docks for your ship here at Borea. Magnus 1 is a rocky planet that's a stripped Jupiter, basically a Chinothian planet. And then Magnus 3 is a multicolored super Jupiter. They could spice it up with a few moons, but who knows at this point. Magnus is a good possibility beyond the next system, which seems more likely in the short term to what I want to move on to. That system, number 2, would be on the other side of the map, would be Nyx. Now, most everyone here, myself included, miss Delamar. Delamar, though, was not originally part of Stanton. It was in the Stanton universe, Stanton system, until its testing purposes were no longer needed. So, Delamar has since been shipped off, probably to prepare for its inclusion in its home system of Nyx. Nyx is 11.2 astronomical units across around a white F-type star. It has 3 primary planets, Nyx 1, which is a coreless world that's heat swept and pretty much stripped clean of ore. Nix 2, which is a high pressure hot box planet, not even worth terraforming. And then Nix 3, which is a gas giant and ice giant that lacks a breathable atmosphere or any valuable minerals, though they could remedy that by adding some moons. It has 2 asteroid belts, one of which is the Glacium Ring, in which Delamar orbits, and the Keeger belt at the outer edge of the system. Now, unlike a lot of the other systems, we know quite a bit about Nyx. We know that the People's Alliance and a group called the Moraine are duking it out for territorial control in Nyx. It's very unusual among the other systems because we actually have evidence that I personally asked on the lore team page, and they've shared ever so generously with me. So it's very possible this could be the next system after Pyro. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping we get a sitcom announcement sooner or later about Nyx. But a lot of people miss Levski. It's since in the updated monthly reports, it's gotten its hospital added, some changes to the landing zone itself. So we'll have to wait and see. After Nyx and Magnus, there are 3 other systems. Some of them, most of them seem like far shots for current development. But I wanted to kind of throw them out there with Pyro as the hub. Castra among them seems like a more likely candidate. Paul Shelley has pointed out that Castra would be likely because it has a form of architecture that we don't have in Stanton. This is system number 3. And it only has 2 planets in a very large system around a blue subgiant star. So we have Bullseye and Cascom. Bullseye is this planet. It doesn't have its name directly, but it's an airless, hot planet orbiting around this B-type star. Cascom, on the other hand, is a former frontline forward military base and training center. It was cleared for civilian habitation after the collapse of the Mezzers. So it could have some very lucrative military contracts here for UEE or otherwise lawful players. Traders might also find it very appealing for, trading it off with military personnel still in the system. See, another system that comes to mind without too much incredulous work. We're running out of systems that could be worked on effectively, but we'll see. Hadrian, which is an oddball. Hadrian is around the only caveat with this system, the last 2 I would say are very controversial, because Hadrian would be the largest system at the time of this video. It is 65 astronomical units across. I don't think it would it would shrink, obviously, probably down to 15 or 20, but we'll see. But if they did make Hadrian like among the 5th or 6th system, in addition to the 2 we're getting, Hadrian would have its 3 planets and asteroid field. So you have Hadrian the star, which is this massive ball. It's a red giant star. Basically a giant sun that runs out of its fuel at its end of its life. Hadrian 1 is a gas dwarf. It's with a rocky core. Its atmosphere is too volatile to terraform. Probably not a very habitable place. Any moons they add or may not add would probably just have military bases. Hadrian 2 is a gas giant that's a featureless blue globe. It's a class 3. So it's basically just a smooth blue looking planet. Again, could have moons, may not have moons. Then you have Hadrian Belt Alpha. This belt has a ton of mines laid in the field. Then you have the Hadrian Flotilla, which would, it has a cluster of former military satellites that have been converted into a massive bazaar. Some newer trade stations have opened in recent years as the site has become a mecca of trade to the Xi'an. So by that, you now know where we are. We're on the Xi'an border world system, basically. Finally, you have the third planet called Watcher, the Watcher. It has a dark spot on its pale color atmosphere. It's on the fringe of the system. So I don't think this planetary system will be as likely probably as the next one. 65 astronomical units is pretty big. You'd have to put missions and other things in that to make it more compelling to players to make that place their home. Anyways, after that, we've covered Castra, Stanton, Pyro, Hadrian, Nyx. This one is likely only because of Squadron 42's development. It'll work. Hang on. Why is that not going? It's not working. Okay. Inspect. Let me. Huh. There it goes. This is Odin, the system where Squadron 42 primarily takes place in. This system could be likely if they continue development to it. It has a collapsed white dwarf star in the middle of it. So, yeah, it's a degenerate white dwarf. It'll be our first stellar remnant in game. Near it, we have the Coil, which is an asteroid cluster of the destroyed innermost planet. And then we have Gaini, a moon orbiting the remains of its former planet. Odin 2, meanwhile, is a Chthonian planet that mostly houses its testing facilities for scientists and various corporations who use it to conduct dangerous ops. So you're seeing what the name of this system. This is basically a military contract system. Possibly also scientific research with the fossil record of Odin 3. Oops. Not shown here is the Archon Station. And then we have Odin 4, which is a gas giant at the outer edge, home to several refineries. Now, like most things, it's subject to change. This is just a speculation video, so who knows what systems are added. This video could be very different in about a year's time or two. I'm not going to put a timetable on this because that would be stupid. Anyways, thank you for paying attention to my video today. It's been awesome. I appreciate it. There are probably other systems that I'm going to cover in the second part of this. So thank you for listening. Until then, Star Citizen fam, cheers and 07, everyone.